Hey everybody, and welcome to WretroMania. This is our special SummerSlam 1997 episode. I'm your co-host, Coby Nida, and as always, I'm joined by...
Jimmy Price.
Yes, indeed. This is a pro wrestling retrospective podcast where we're taking a leap into the origin of Attitude. It's our first season. We're covering SummerSlam 1997 this episode.
That's right. We're devoting the entire episode to SummerSlam 1997 because it was a big show and there were a lot of turning points, both in real life and in the storyline. So we're going to take a real close look at that today.
We're talking right now about the key players, Stone Cold, Shawn Micheals, Bret Hart, and Vince McMahon. And what's been going on lately? What are we building towards?
So this year we've seen Bret Hart, who was the top babyface in the company, turn heel right after signing a long-term contract with Vince, 20-year contract. Continuing this historic feud with Shawn Micheals with the real-life animosity. All the while, you have Stone Cold rising to prominence and becoming what he would be, which is probably the biggest star that the pro wrestling industry has ever seen. So, and Vince is on camera, beyond the scenes, he's dealing with all these egos. On camera, he's shifting from polite play-by-play commentator to the boss, Mr. McMahon.
You're seeing more signs of it. You're seeing people acknowledge him more and more, and he's loosening up a bit. He's not the stilted McMahon, rightfully so anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is a good event here. We're gonna have Stone Cold getting that shot at the Intercontinental Championship against Owen Hart, the man who pinned him.
Pinned his shoulders to the mat. 1, 2, 3. He was the man that beat Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, and we'll see if he has to pucker up or not.
Yeah.
Pucker Slam, 1997.
as King would have it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got the main event. This is a big one. With all the tension, Shawn found his way into the main event again.
Yeah.
He's the special guest referee for this.
Yeah. Against Taker. Special guest referee for Taker and Bret. If Bret loses, the stipulation is that he will not be able to wrestle on U.S. soil. If Shawn shows any bias in his refereeing, he will not be allowed to wrestle on U.S. soil. So there's a lot at work here, and they're coming off of this fight that they had just a couple months prior.
There's animosity and
so much animosity.
Yeah. But Shawn is determined to say that there's nothing going on between him and Bret.
Yeah,
so
but I guess we'll find
if
out.
These guys can play it cool.
Yeah, they're going to be in the ring at the same time in the main event for the second biggest show of the year.
Yep, it's Undertaker defending his WWF World title against Bret the Hitman Hart with the special guest referee, Shawn Micheals. We're going to dive right into SummerSlam 1997, New Jersey.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Pucker Slam.
In over 100 countries, in 7 different languages, to more than 500 million viewers each week, the World Wrestling Federation, the worldwide leader in sports entertainment. In a perfect world, there would be no villains, no conspicuous manifestations of hate. Athletic excellence would be applauded. Sportsmanship would be the rule. Our heroes would remain heroes forever. If life were fair, then this legend would be lauded in his pursuit of an historic 5th World Wrestling Federation Championship. Instead, he's a fallen idol, America's public enemy #1. The respect abandoned, the legacy bludgeoned and spat upon by a society he feels condones defiance and perpetuates hate. If life were fair, then this mighty champion, this survivor of deception and conqueror of all earthly hells, would surely revel in the championship spotlight. The bright lights wouldn't singe his aura, illuminating a dark, horrifying secret from a distant past. And if life were fair, then this man might still be champion, dancing, flying, showcasing his extraordinary talents to legions of fans. He wouldn't be an athlete betrayed by an unwilling knee, a man surrendering a boyhood dream to search for the lost smile of youth. Is it fair that tonight, even in victory, this champion will be haunted by personal demons whose voices cry out from the dark? Is it fair that tonight this man may rewrite history, yet still incur the wrath of a hostile and unappreciative nation? And is it fair that tonight's special referee is a despised enemy of the challenger? Will vengeance flow ruinous from his biased heart, ensuring that tonight will be the last night Bret Hart ever wrestles in this country again? Life isn't fair, but whoever said it would be. And now, Stridex presents WWF Summer Slam, Heart and Soul.
Wonderful little intro there.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So we're opening up right here. We're in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Nice
Meadowlands Arena.
Yep. Nice little view that they got. They keep going to it.
Yeah. That New York skyline on the horizon.
And we're getting it set up right off the bat with a steel cage match.
Yeah, this is the not the ultimate blow off, as these two would go on throughout the years to have continue to have great matches. But Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Mankind have been, as we've discussed in previous episodes, they've had matches at King of the Ring, at Canadian Stampede. So they're finally having the big cage match here in New Jersey, in the shadows of Madison Square Garden.
Yes, indeed. So it's right off the bat, Chyna is involved. You wouldn't think she would be.
Yeah.
She grabs like a choker chain and chokes Mick Foley, and then Triple H gets advantage of him. Then we get a suplex where Triple H is hanging by his feet on the top of the cage. It's an interesting spot I've never seen. It's like monkey bars, when you're on the playground.
Yeah.
And Mankind comes and does a knee smash on him. Then he slams Triple H into the cage. And JR names the guys who they're trained by. He always does.
Yeah.
Dominic DeNucci for Mick Foley and Killer Kowalski.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we get Foley receiving a backdrop into the steel cage, and Jim Ross goes, "How do you protect yourself from a backdrop? Your body is just being pummeled and thrown into steel." Yeah.
They don't teach that in school.
Yeah. No, they don't. You got to learn that in the Carney game.
Yeah.
$2,000. Straight up.
Sleeping in your car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then they both climb to the other side of the steel cage, to the top rope, and they duke it out like they're like both on the rope fighting each other, punching. And Hunter loses that battle, gets crotched on the top rope. And then Mankind goes to climb out, and Chyna slams the door on his head.
Yeah. Again with Chyna getting involved, it's interesting how throughout the years, these structures, which is a word we heard, I think 40 plus times in the Punjabi prison match. These structures that are built to keep people out never ends up working that way. It was true then with Chyna, and it's true to this day. So yeah, Chyna interjects herself back into the match, and where do we go from there?
Man, that blow to the head looked deadly from the door.
Yeah.
Honestly. And Mankind, then she throws the referee into the steps. Then she grabs a chair. She throws that into the ring. She almost hits Hunter. And Triple H sets up for a pedigree. But Mankind reverses that. And Chyna's up on the steel cage in the apron. And she gets hit by Triple H after the reversal, after the catapult. Yeah. So knocks her off. The crowd goes wild on that. And then we get a double arm DDT onto the steel cage. Yeah. Onto the chair.
Yeah.
And Mankind goes to climb out of the steel cage. And he's almost there. And he takes his mask off.
Yeah.
And he looks at the corner. And he's like, no. And JR says the fans are chanting Superfly, and they kind of are.
Yeah.
So I guess they recognize the promos.
Yeah, the interviews, that terrific interview series with Jim Ross leading up to this, he details his journey to Madison Square Garden. He hitchhiked there from Long Island as a kid, and saw Jimmy Superfly Snuka do his infamous cage dive on the Magnificent Morocco. And so the fans they're chanting Superfly. He takes the mask off, and then he opens up his, I guess you can call it a shirt vest that Mankind would wrestle in, and reveals the Hart tattoo, which is a not so subtle nod to the original incarnation of Dude Love that we saw in his home movies from back in the day, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Before that, though, I forgot to mention Chyna runs in while he was climbing over originally.
Oh, really?
And she goes to Hunter, and there's like some confusion, and she runs back out. So then we get Mick Foley climbing up, like you said, rips the shirt open, and he jumps off, does the amazing elbow drop.
Yeah. Classic moment.
Yep. And then he goes to crawl out. Climb over the cage, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And as he does that, Chyna runs back in. Then she grabs Triple H and starts to pull him towards the door. So it builds a little tension, but Mick Foley goes over, and he's over. And I think that was a botched job from Chyna earlier, running in.
Yeah.
And she lost her timing. She was like, oh, not this one. Triple H was probably like, no, next one.
Yeah, and Chyna's still, fairly new to the business at this point, so it's understandable how that she would, make that kind of mistake in that moment. And but yeah, the babyface gets the win in a pretty hot opener.
Yep. And then all of a sudden they play Dude Loves music.
Yeah. So they're sort of leaning into, these different sides of the same individual, the different faces.
Yeah,
as,
Vince McMahon is like, it's Mankind. No, it's Dude Love. It's Dude Love. It's Dude Love in Mankind's clothing.
It's Dude Kind.
Yeah. He says the dudeness, ladies and gentlemen.
This dude, El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Then we get the classic WrestleMania theme, and it's Todd Pettengill, and he's out with Gorilla Monsoon, Mosh Thrasher, and then the Governor. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Her name is Whitman. She's from New Jersey, Christy Tom Whitman, and it's like awkward, and it's weird. And Todd Pettengill, funny little part that I just brought this up for is she's with Mosh and Thrasher, and she says, I'm here with the Headbangers. And he's like, oh, yeah, don't let them get too close to you. Have you had your shots? And she goes, hey. He said, they're from New Jersey. And she goes, that's right. Todd's like, yeah, I know. Dirty. You're dirty.
That's the joke. You're dirty, dirty people.
Sucks.
Yeah, and this is one of Pettengill's last shows, too.
I think
that may or may not have had something to do with it.
Yeah. The reason being might be coming up later, too.
Yeah.
So now we got Pillman and Goldust coming up. But they show scenes from earlier in that day. It was a SummerSlam event. It's a beach party. Yeah. What's going on there? Do you know what's going on at all?
So this beach party is more or less just a huge tailgating event. If you're familiar with the documentary Wrestling with Shadows, they do a bunch of interviews with fans who are just so lit, just like been drinking since like noon, and so we'll get into this more later. But one of the problems with this event as a whole is that the crowd is not super into it. And then reading the Wrestling Observer newsletter from August 11th. A lot of accounts are saying that fans were essentially partied out by the time the show rolled around, and that had something to do with a general lack of enthusiasm in the building as this beach party / tailgate.
Yeah, it looked like an overcast type day.
Yeah.
So I think people were able to get their drink on a little bit more rather than getting struck by the heat.
Yeah.
So they were kind of feeling it by then.
Yeah.
And they look to be a little bit inebriated from this footage that you see just briefly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even Shawn.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Kidding. But yeah, there's a Campbell soup sign, and it's like 100% whoop ass.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I like the effort that people took. And Stone Cold's just flicking everybody off, and they're like, yeah! Fuck yeah!
Fuck us! We suck!
So now we're out with Pillman and Goldust.
Yes.
This match is going to take place. It's been building because Pillman's antagonizing Goldust about his father and his cross-dressing and also wanting to get into Marlena's dress.
Yeah. Getting personal.
Yeah, very personal. And Pillman has the worst music ever.
It really is. It's terrible. Like, I had forgotten about it until he was in like one of the video games a couple years ago. And I heard it and I was like, I was reminded of it. It's essentially just like, I don't know. You're more musically inclined than I am. How would you describe this piece of music?
It's trying to be like a Psycho type theme, and then it's,
but they've already done Psycho Sid's entrance music, which is like the perfect Psycho music, so they can't use that.
But we can't use Stone Cold.
Yeah.
But we can't do Bret Hart's. But we can just try to mesh everything in there.
Yeah.
And some sound effects.
Yeah. Not one of Jim Johnston's finer moments.
I'll bring it up on here.
Yeah.
So Pillman says, Marlena, they'd show him in a backstage interview. He's like, Marlena, I know you want me to get into your dress, but I'm not that easy. You're going to have to wine and dine me. And he's looking crazy as usual. And it's some decent wrestling. The only thing I want to bring up in this match is there's a part where Pillman is hanging on to the ropes, and Dustin goes to sunset flip. Goldust goes to sunset flip over him, and he crashes right on his head.
Oof.
Oh, it looks painful.
Yeah.
Talk about another neck injury that might be coming up. But yeah. Looks a little painful on that one. Then we get some headlocks back and forth, and King says Goldust's dad, Old Dust, is probably ashamed of him.
Old Dust,
yeah. And we keep getting a super close-up of Pillman's eyes, and that's kind of creepy.
Oh, yeah, he definitely had the crazy eyes.
Yep, and then they collide. They come back with a little flip-flop and a fly, if you will. Goldust does his patented stuff from his daddy.
Yeah.
And he gets a bulldog attempt and thrown off by Pillman. And then Goldust goes for a top rope sunset flip, like I was saying, and nearly breaks his neck. So we get that painful spot where Dusty almost breaks his neck. But it looks like Pillman is like straddling him over his face. and he kind of stays in that position. And it's awkward at first, but then he grabs the second rope, and Marlena smashes him in the face with her purse. Yeah. And Dusty rolls him back over finally and gets the 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So he wins with help of Marlena.
Yeah, and Pillman's going to have to don the gold dress.
Yeah, and he's not happy. He rips up the mannequin and rips up the dress and everything, and he's going wild. He's going to have to wear that dress tomorrow. Raw, an hour late, though. It's coming on an hour late.
Yeah.
So they're going on with some time constraints. Later on in the month, you'll see. So we're going to miss a couple episodes of Raw, actually.
Yeah, there's going to be some weird programming coming up.
Yes, indeed. Then we get the Godwins out with their match with LOD, and it's all about breaking Henry's neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one isn't anything to revisit, really. It's not too good of a match.
No. It's just pummeling, just back and forth, and they're working slowly over Animal, Phineas and Henry. And then we get a spot where they're trying to like set up Henry for the Doomsday device, but Phineas gets into the way, so Hawk hits him, and then Animal goes for like a powerbomb thing on Henry, like he's gonna almost powerbomb him, but he shoots him up, and we get a big, huge spike pile driver from Hawk off the top. Yeah, looks painful. Yeah. And they attempted to break his neck. There's a lot of neck stuff going on. Isn't that kind of strange?
You gotta be careful with the neck stuff.
Yeah. So we get some LOD chants. That was their first SummerSlam since 1992, which we will be covering later this month, right?
That's right. Yeah, we're going to do a special 25th anniversary SummerSlam 92 episode. And that'll be coming up soon. Yes,
indeed. LOD gets the good chance, and they win. They signal that they want the tag straps. Yeah. So they're coming for those, I guess. After that, we get a flash to fans who won some contests, and it's Brian and some other guy, Patrick, and they got some Discovery Zone shirts on, man.
Oh, the D-Zone.
Yeah, you remember that?
I loved Discovery Zone.
You did?
Yeah, that was... A lot of people don't know about it. I think it might have been regional.
Can you explain what it was? I mean,
so Discovery Zone was sort of like I guess the closest thing, or I mean this is different, maybe more fun, but I know like a lot of kids go to like the Sky Zone places. It's something like that. It's more of like a play place from a McDonald's or a Chuck E. Cheese, but like the biggest and best play place. Like the entire building was like one gigantic play place. And
think mats everywhere.
Yeah, mats everywhere.
Padding everywhere.
Kids just jumping off of like
germs everywhere.
So many germs, so many high spots.
Balls, high spots. Like these things, like little tubes that were slides, the roller things.
Yeah, those felt weird.
It's like metal rollers. Those were so strange.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I feel like I don't see how like a kid's shirt didn't get caught in that, and like
I'm sure there was some issues.
Somebody got decapitated. I don't know. It was not safe, but god damn it if it wasn't fun.
Oh yeah, maze stairs, everything. Ugh. Just get lost in there for a while. Yeah. And it was cool. I guess parents could hang out. I wonder what the parents' experience was like. I'll have to ask my parents.
Yeah. I mean, I would just imagine it being sheer panic for me. Like, if my kid was in there. It's like, because you can't like watch them the entire time because it's like, once they're in, they can go anywhere. I
took my brother to Port Discovery, and that's like similar. There's a little play area there, and he was like 5 at the time. Mm-hmm. Oh, so hard to keep up with him, man.
Yeah,
nearly bashed my head into everything, like ducking and diving. Like there was the maze stairs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because they're quick and they have the advantage because this place is built for them. It's not built for like adults or older brothers to
not to
chase,
run after
to chase them around.
No, sorry.
Playing on their rules now.
Yeah, sorry going off on a Discovery Zone tangent, but yeah, it was good times there.
Needed to happen. Yeah.
So these guys they get to pick a key, and they could win $1 million. Like, Vince is already doing the $1 million giveaway right here.
All about the money.
Yeah. So these two guys pick their numbers, and then they're gonna call some people. And Todd's like, okay. He's looking down at Sonny's breast the whole time while she's holding the numbers for the list of the numbers, and he's like, lower, 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 like perverse. Yeah. He calls, and they get some no answers. Like, it's just ringing. This is just like McMahon's Millions.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And why McMahon ever thought this was going to be a good idea to try again on live television, that's another podcast. But yeah, works just as well as it worked for him back when he did that within the last 10 years or so.
So they call the first person, and he's not even watching because his cable provider doesn't even carry. Sorry. But he gets to pick a number anyhow. And apparently he gets a $5,000 American savings bond. Interesting.
Hey,
so
savings bonds are still they're doing all right.
Yeah,
97 especially.
Mm-hmm. So then they call somebody else, and she's all happy about it. And basically the people on the phone both fail.
Yeah.
So then we got the kid that's going up. It's Ryan.
Yeah.
He's hot for it. Goes up. No, he fails.
Yeah.
But he does get a hug from Sable.
He gets a hug from Sonny, and
Sable.
he is a young boy, probably
Sable.
about like 4.5 feet tall. So
Yes,
he's
dude.
just right at that height where he can, and Sonny's wearing a certain
Sable.
kind of top.
Low cut leather outfits,
Yeah.
like skin tight.
And so
take you out on a Saturday night. Sorry, I lost myself. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he gets a hug from Sonny, and he's
Sable.
at that height, and so Pettengill sees this and then makes the now infamous comment: "You don't know this yet, but that's worth more than $1 million."
Yes, indeed.
So just makes it uncomfortable. And isn't the kid's mom there, or am I just?
I don't know.
Not probably not on camera, but obviously there at, at the event. So.
Probably like, oh my goodness.
Pettengill making it weird.
He's like, Mommy, I like Sable. So then we get the other guy, and he fails too. Sorry, no. It was number 3 the whole time.
Yeah.
Should have picked number 3. 3 is the magic number.
Yeah.
All right. Then we get a flashback to last Monday, where Bulldog and Shamrock were arm wrestling. They're setting up for their competition for the European Championship. Yeah. And Bulldog just pulls out a chair and cracks Ken.
Yeah.
Gives him a little introduction to the WWF.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Standard arm wrestling procedure.
Mm-hmm. And then he shoves some dog food in his mouth. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him a bite. And
this match is really nothing. It's just Bulldog with his... it's not so great repertoire. I don't know. Were you a big Bulldog fan?
I was a pretty big Bulldog fan. I think
I was.
Yeah, I mean, I could still go back and watch some of the stuff. I mean, he was very much dependent on who he was in there with. So obviously, if it's a Bret or a Shawn, they're gonna carry the match, and it's gonna end up being a classic, like some of those in your house matches that are still great. But going in against Ken Shamrock, who had been in pro wrestling for less than a year at that point, a little green. Yeah, it's not going to get a technical classic out of him.
No, not at all, really. But he's still working up. You can see that there's some potential there for some of the moves. And I know he did some wrestling back in the day. I've seen some old pictures and I've heard some old stuff. But
Shamrock?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
like amateur wrestling?
No, I think pro wrestling.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I think he got tuned up basically.
Cool.
Before by Bret. So
yeah.
In 1988, Shamrock trained as a professional wrestler under Buzz Sawyer and Gene Anderson. He debuted in 1990 under Royals North Carolina-based Atlantic Coastal Wrestling Promotion under the ring name Wayne Shamrock. After ACW folded, he moved on to George Scott, a famous booker, Paul Jones' run company, South Atlantic Pro Wrestling, which initially promoted under the banner North American Wrestling Association. And they changed his name to Vince Torelli, more, down south Italian fighter. Later, he adopted the name Mr. Wrestling, a more villainous persona. And then in 1990, Shamrock traveled to Japan, where he competed in Universal Wrestling Federation and its successor's promotion, Pro Wrestling Fujiwara Gumi. And he was a hard, tough-nosed fighter, and he kept doing UFC promotion within those times too. But he started out as a pro wrestler, I believe. Yeah, basically, that match goes on, and Bulldog retains, and
then Shamrock snaps.
Yeah.
So this is at the beginning of him, just
Bulldog throws food at him. So.
Yeah, and so at least there was like a reason for it. I mean, Shamrock's gimmick would go on to be he would just snap, regardless. But yeah, he snaps, puts Bulldog in the old rear naked choke, which prompts a number of referees and WWF officials to come down, among them Pat Patterson.
Yes, indeed.
Fatty.
Banana. It's banana separated.
He was not over the moon about this. So yeah, they get him to break the hold, but then he just starts suplexing everybody. Patterson needs to suplex a couple officials, and Shamrock's starting to get into that character of somebody who will just snap.
He was crazy.
Yeah, always bleeding from the mouth.
Yeah, even
always.
I gotta bring out the action figures, man. I said it last time, but
yeah.
I will next episode. I promise. I'll have Shamrock out. I'll have all the players that we're messing with right here. Shamrock's face on his toys, like it's just him screaming and veins.
I remember it. Yeah, I think I had that one too.
Next segment, we get Shawn backstage, and he's in his referee's outfit because he's going to be the special guest referee tonight for the Bret Hart and Undertaker match.
Yes.
It's a big one.
Definitely, yeah. So we're, covered how he sort of weaseled his way into the main event of SummerSlam. And so, yeah, I think what was riding on the match is obviously if Bret loses, he's not going to wrestle on American soil. So they're finally making, that's this match?
Yep.
Yeah, and then, but if Shawn shows any sort of bias in the matchup, then he isn't going to be wrestling on American soil anymore either, or is just gone from WWF.
Yep.
So a lot of stipulations, and Shawn gives his interview where he's talking about how seriously he's going to take this match, sort of a wink and a nod type stuff. And
I'll give it all my best views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure you will, Shawn.
Yep. I won't be involved. And Vince says, I disagree. Shawn, he's very emotional. Thanks, Vince.
Vince would know.
Yep. So next up, the very important man. This is going down, brother. This is gang warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is DOA, the Apocalypse, Disciples of Apocalypse.
Now, do you want to save this for our next season? Season 2 spoiler. Look, guys, I don't want to give too much away, but we're working on a season 2 that's focused specifically on the rise and fall of Los Boricuas. It's going to be entitled Boricuas Forever.
Yes, indeed.
So we won't want to give too much away. We'll glaze over this, but trust me, we're going to go in depth on their story. So, but yeah, we got is it an 8-man tag?
Yep.
The Boricuas.
It's gang warfare. It's Los Boricuas. This is fronted by 2 guys that were in the Nation of Domination. So they're still kind of playing into this storyline. And like we said, we're not going to dive too deep into it because we want to focus on this next season. And we got the Nation coming out, and they got the newest member, Ahmed Johnson. Wow. Yeah. He's looking mean and ugly.
Yeah, because, if you can't get over feuding with them, then
join them,
I guess.
Right. I loathe those storylines. if the guy turns again, where it's like he has to join them and then he has to beat them from within. They've never done that really too great. I mean, the Daniel Bryan was done and it was like hot-shotted.
Yeah, with him and the Wyatts. Man, I was in Richmond the night that he joined the Wyatts.
Whoa!
I missed out on the epic cage match where he finally turned on Bray and the building was like electric. But it was a very eerie, like powerful feel because he had that
jumpsuit.
Yeah, he had the jumpsuit, but he finally like seeing him break down and finally join the Wyatt family. It was like such a bummer. But yeah, that was I think they. To your point, they sort of rushed that whole angle. So,
yeah, it stinks. I mean, if they've ever done it right, I don't know. Someone tell me, please.
Yeah, I can't think of an example.
So, Nation of Domination, of course, gets involved. Chains gets Pearl River plunged, but Ahmed is not really the smoothest on this.
No, his knee. I mean, he's never been too smooth to begin with. But his knee is bothering him, so he gets him up for the Pearl River plunge, but the knee just isn't doing it, so he sort of delivers it just like a power bomb.
Yeah,
and I'm sure
basically Chains lands on Ahmed's like legs.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't a good bump. He
sits down and doesn't look good.
Nah, and to which Ahmed gets up and looks around at the crowd and yells, "Suck on that!"
Yeah. Probably his nuts, right?
Yeah. Depending on how you hear it. I
don't all right, very important Intercontinental Championship coming up next. Yeah. This is Owen and Stone Cold. And if Stone Cold loses, he needs to pucker up.
So we mentioned the stipulation going into this
to pucker up.
Episode. Yeah, he's going to have to pucker up and kiss Owen's ass if he's unable to capture the Intercontinental title. This stipulation is of particular interest to Jerry the King Lawler, who I wish I would have kept account of how many times he brings it up. But to pucker up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty much JR and Vince going back and forth, trading color and play-by-play, and then Lawler will come in and be like, "Oh man, I want to see it. I want to see Stone Cold kiss his ass." Like over and over again. That's all Lawler contributed on commentary to that match is how much he wants to see this happen.
Yeah. And they're like, do you want to see a man kiss another man's behind?
He's like, yeah, I want to see Austin do it.
Yeah. It's just Austin that he wants to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure can.
Actually, earlier in the night, with the Brian Pillman and Goldust match, JR and Vince are joking back and forth, and it's like old man joking. Vince is like, "Certainly, you've never been in a dress, JR," and he's like, "Oh, maybe one time." And they're like giggling or whatever, and it's just King staring at them like, "You guys think you got a sense of humor?" Like,
like that's too lowbrow for King. Like that's somehow below his lofty standards of humor, and, commentary, and broadcast journalism.
Better pucker up. All right,
he's gonna do it.
So it's Owen and Stone Cold. This is Owen coming in as the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, and we get a pretty compelling video package before this match, don't we?
Oh my God, I nearly forgot. This is awesome. This is him saying he pinned Bret or pinned Austin, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was the man that beat Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'm gonna cue this up actually.
I was the man that beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin by himself! All the brothers are pinning him up! Austin back here by himself! I was the man that beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. Look at these sick Canadians! McMahon is like the Roman gladiators! They wanted to destroy Steve Austin! and I'll wrestle him. Stone Cold Steve Austin has been handcuffed. They better put leg irons on him too, or he'll kick somebody else's ass. I was the man that pinned his shoulders to the mat for 1, 2, 3. I can't believe he's making hand gestures. And he's handcuffed. He doesn't give a damn. You can put my arms behind my back, but you can't shut up the fingers. That rattlesnake is not afraid of anything. I was the man that beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. If I cannot beat Owen Hart at SummerSlam after the match, when he pins me 1, 2, 3, if that happens, he can pull down his trunks, pull down his little panties, bend over and I'll kiss him right on his ass. The odds are that I can beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. I beat him twice before, and with my Intercontinental title on the line, I can guarantee I can beat him again. I'll kiss his ass if I can't kick it, and that's the way it's gonna be. You better pucker up, son, because at SummerSlam, you're gonna kiss my ass. Hey. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, we're live. SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Pucker up.
So yeah, basically they had an interview with Owen Hart where he says maybe 2 or 3 sentences.
Yeah.
About he was the man that beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. And they just cut that into the video package and repeat it. And every time they repeat it, they just they'll tilt the camera angle or like crop the shot just a little bit.
Kind of rotate the image slightly.
Yeah, but it's just like it's the same sentence over and over again.
And there's no like transitional effect at all. It's just rough cut from Austin tearing house and their flashback from their little scuffle at Canadian Stampede and stuff.
With the juxtaposition of like Austin cutting these intense promos, like vintage Stone Cold promos, and it just goes back to Owen, like I was the man that beat Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, it's basically one sentence, but they're chopping the words to try to make it seems like it's emphasized to different sound bites.
I pinned his shoulders to the mat.
I'm the man that can beat him 1, 2, 3, and that's it. That's all he said. But they have to repeat that over and over.
Yeah.
Needless to say, they did a decent job in trying to build it.
Yeah.
Still a good.
As great as their video production as even was back then. Occasionally, sometimes you have to rush something. Sometimes one of the guys isn't the best promo. As much as I love Owen.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna get to this match. There's a lot of nice wrestling back and forth. These guys are technicians, man. Definitely.
Top of their game, just going at it full force. And they're like on pace to have like an all-time great SummerSlam match. And we get, lots of back and forth and lots of Owen is doing a lot of like finger stuff. Where, a lot of holds with Austin's fingers and like bending them back, reminiscent of like the type of stuff you see from Marty Scurll these days.
Biting on the middle finger though.
Biting the middle finger. Yeah,
disrespecting that middle finger.
He's trying to shut the fingers up.
Yeah,
even though Austin said that it couldn't be done.
We get Owen going for a Hurricane Rana and it gets reversed into a big powerbomb by Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Then they're running outside on the ramp. Like Owen does not want any part of this. He's just like, I'm done. Like he doesn't have to lose, really.
Yeah, he's got the championship advantage.
Yeah. This is awesome. So counter to counter. And they keep saying, Austin's neck throughout the whole match while he's working his neck. And then we finally get the spot where Owen picks up Stone Cold for a tombstone pile driver. Yeah. And he lands fresh on his head.
Yeah. And it's I'm sure most people who are listening have seen it, but it's a sit-down tombstone. And Austin's head is just about, just a couple inches too low, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, you really need to go see this match. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's a good little technician match, and it's interesting to see Austin before the injury here and then after. Surely he's had better matches than this, but you're going to see a big difference in his wrestling style.
Yeah, this is the moment where he shifts from, he was working a lot of the brawling in, to fit that Stone Cold character, but he was still, just look at the first part of this match, he's still going for a lot of the technical stuff, a lot of fast pace, a lot of counters and things of that nature. But you'll see, looking at his career after this is where he shifts to sort of like an all-out brawling type of style to, protect his neck.
Yep. So Owen's up and he's like, "What's the matter?" And he's like, you can hear him say that, but I think Austin's talking to the referee. I think we're getting a little communication, and Owen just knows naturally to stall.
Yeah, and he does a good job of this. He's visibly shaken, and you can't blame him a bit. I mean, you could see, he could feel, I'm sure, Austin's head hit the mat. He can, you can see looking at Austin as he's laying there, there is no movement whatsoever from the waist down.
Oh yeah.
For a good couple of minutes, and that's just terrifying. So Owen, he tries to get some chants going, tries to get a Canada chant going with the crowd, just to get some heat.
Crowd reacts to USA, of course.
Yes. Probably would have done better to get out of the ring, and maybe the camera could have followed him around there. But in the moment, I can't imagine how he felt.
Yeah, terrible. But he pulls it off, man. He poorly but slowly rolls up Owen, and he's like not even covering him, but Owen's legs are leaned back.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3, and he wins that Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to pucker up.
Pucker up.
So he's not the one that's going to have to pucker up tonight.
Yeah.
On Pucker Slam. But they say he may have a broken neck.
Yeah. And at that point, they didn't know.
But he's like carted out of there.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Like you can see him regain all mobility slowly.
Yeah, and he's walking, but he's on jello legs, and what they found when they got to the hospital is that he had suffered a pretty significant stinger.
Damn.
So he probably shouldn't have been moving around as much as he was after that spot, but he's they call he's the toughest SOB in the business, and that's not all gimmick.
No. There's some notes in Bret's book. I'll read on that in a little bit, but we're gonna get to the main event right here. This is it. This is Bret Hart and Undertaker.
And next up, the Undertaker against Bret the Hitman Hart. Let's take you now and show you as Shawn Micheals readies himself to be the guest referee, some of the events that led up to this matchup.
Bret the Hitman Hart and his Hart Foundation have been on a colossal roll in the WWF. But has the Hitman's patriotism led to insolence and overconfidence?
Thank you for letting me still be your hero. If I don't come to Canada with that World Wrestling Federation Championship belt, I will never, ever wrestle on American soil ever again. And that is a promise. You said that if you don't win the World Wrestling Federation Championship at SummerSlam, you'll never again wrestle on American soil. That's what you said.
The most awesome force in the history of the World Wrestling Federation stands in Bret Hart's way. A phenom whose tenacity and vengeance has overcome every obstacle faced. A man who proudly carries the torch of distinction, the WWF title. But in the largest spectacle of the summer, the Hitman will confront much, much more.
The Undertaker and Bret the Hitman Hart for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. And I will be the special referee. If I lean towards the Undertaker's side, I also will not be able to wrestle in the United States. You have no right to be a referee. Example, and the Patriot, you're gonna just be one more name that I'm gonna
a list of Americans that I'm going to flush down the toilet.
Comes out when he talks about how he stands for everything that's right, and he jumps the guy while the national anthem's playing. Oh! And the official knocked down as well. The Hitman Bret out. The referee will call. Bret Hart upset as well he should be. Shawn Micheals and an irate Bret Hart. Hart goes to cast referee this Sunday. Wait a minute. What's that? Wait a minute. It's the Undertaker. It's the Undertaker.
In the biggest WWF title match of the year, pride, power, and conflict will rule. If the dark side prevails, a fallen idol will face exile. And if this man has his way, that possibility will become reality.
And yes, there you see the Stridex airship looking down.
Yeah, the Stridex blimp doesn't look too out of place because this is the Meadowlands Arena was pretty big, but man, when they would run those smaller arenas and they brought the blimp out, it was like
I'm sure it's still blocking some people's view.
yeah, it would just like it would look like it was taking up an entire section. Yeah, especially like those like 5,000 seaters they would do in your houses in sometimes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So your main event is here. Your match is set. It's big implications.
Heart and soul. Mm-hmm. And let me just say that the poster for this pay-per-view with Bret and Taker is one of my favorite posters of all time. You have Bret sort of like Aladdin-esque standing on a magic carpet with like Taker in the background as like the entire like purple backdrop sort of looking like the genie. It's just a killer poster. You might be able to keep an eye out the Savage Stash. You might be able to find that shirt. It floats around sometimes.
Yeah.
If you see it, let me know.
Please do.
I want to buy it. Anyway,
I love the background. I love everything about that too.
Yeah.
So this is it. We're setting it up. It's Bret Hart. If he loses, he's not going to wrestle on American soil again. If Shawn Michaels interferes, he's not going to wrestle on American soil again. This is the title for Undertaker. There's no way he can get screwed out of this right now.
No way. Yeah.
No. So Bret Hart's out first, the challenger. Woo! He's got coming through that SummerSlam entrance. I love that old school entrance.
Yeah,
the little box.
I was definitely a fan of the box. Not as much as the early 90s neon entranceway.
Oh, yeah.
That just speaks to my soul. But yeah, he's coming out. He cuts a little bit of a promo. He tells the crowd to stand back and listen to the Canadian national anthem.
As you need to stand back.
As opposed to standing up. Standing up isn't good enough. Stand back.
When he's coming out, I see a kid made a sign that says, well, before what it says, he's cut out magazine pictures of Bret, apparently, and glued them onto the sign. It's a white sign. It says, Bret, go back to Canada. It took a lot of effort to cut this out, glue this on a sign, and make it an insulting sign.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort back then, 20 years ago. That's what you had to do to hate on people.
Definitely.
Couldn't just hashtag
you couldn't
go
tweet
back
it.
to Canada, Bret.
Yeah, you made that sign. You ruined your copy of like the June '97 WWF magazine just to tell Bret, exactly how you feel about him.
Either that or you still have the poster board.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Yeah. So he's out. Canadian anthem starts to play.
Yeah.
Place is not really.
Not feeling it.
Some people are semi-respecting it.
Yeah, not really drawing the heat that they were hoping for.
No.
Seemed sort of indifferent to it.
Yeah. Shawn is then out.
Second.
He's the referee. Interesting.
Comes out after the
With
challenger.
music.
With music and pyro.
Oh, pyro too. Yeah, he's in the ring and he gets all this fucking pyro and he does his pose. A referee.
Yeah.
I would love them to do that for like Jimmy Corderas or like some Mike Chioda just once.
Yeah.
It's like a big time match between Samoa Joe and Roman. Braun, and then we get, and now Mike Chioda. Just all this fucking pyro. Yeah. And they've done cost cutting, so they don't have pyro anymore.
But for Chioda,
they would.
Yeah. I guarantee you Shawn had a conversation with Vince that day, trying to get Vince to let him come out last after Taker. I guarantee you that happened.
It's like, let me just come on last. Please. I'll come out with the title too. I'll just present it.
Just give me the belt.
So Shawn's out with pyro, like we said, and then Undertaker comes out. Just a good old classic Undertaker entrance.
Great entrance. Has the big burst of pyro when the lights come up, and Bret has a great beat where the pyro goes off and everybody's like a little startled, and then he just kind of like mocks it a second later. Just like fake jumps at it and just like shrugs it off. Like it's just like, I think it's the look on his face that really sells it. He's just like, this horse shit.
Maybe Bret just doesn't like pyro.
Yeah, it goes back to how he feels about the business. It's it's real.
It's like, I'm not a pyro guy.
Yeah.
Don't even put it where I'm from. You don't have pyro if you're not a pyro.
Yeah. You don't have pyro if you're not a
pyromaniac.
Pyrotechnic.
Yeah. So this match is a lot of good brawling and back and forth from Undertaker and Bret. You got to watch this one as well.
Definitely.
It's a lot of Bret working the leg though on Undertaker.
Yeah. Bret's breaking out all the stops to work the leg. I mean, this match overall, I think, doesn't get enough credit for telling a compelling story with the backdrop of Shawn being referee, which Shawn does a pretty decent job himself.
Dude, agreed.
Yeah, he's in position, and the counts are pretty smooth. I feel like most of the time when good wrestlers or special guest referees, they do a good job because they know what they want out of a referee, so they can
tell the story.
Yeah, exactly.
To definitely put this together, and Shawn does a phenomenal job. All these guys do. They're great. And Bret's got to work Taker down, because he's the giant in the match, and he's gonna
chop the tree down.
Yeah, he's gonna get the sharpshooter on him. And like you said, Shawn is definitely playing a good referee. We get some nice moves by him. Basically, Paul Bearer comes out to kind of distract, and the Kane situation is going on, looming in the background.
Definitely.
He's out of there. Then the Hart Foundation, Brian Pillman and Owen Hart, come down, and they try to antagonize, and Shawn gets out of the ring. And Undertaker is like, nah, I'm going to beat them to the punch, and runs and just slams on Pillman.
Yeah.
So Shawn's like, no, and kicks him out. And that's a good little spot. But the reason Undertaker runs out is because he chokeslammed Bret and went for the pin, but wasn't there.
Yeah, so he's pissed.
Yeah. So Undertaker runs back in. He's yelling at Shawn from the outside, and then he gets rolled up by Bret. 1, 2, no. Oh, close one there. Yeah. Then we get the nice reverses. Undertaker with the flying clothesline, the patented flying clothesline from Undertaker. Always nice.
Absolutely.
Undertaker then choke slams Bret from outside of the ropes into the ring.
Yeah.
Awesome spot.
Just the power display is impressive. You kind of wonder if he's got him, the psychology of it. The psychology of it is a little questionable. If he has him up over the apron, why doesn't he just throw him to the floor? But it looks great. It's a hell of a choke slam.
Just to throw him in the ring, I mean, he's awesome. He throws him like really far too.
Yeah.
We get a near fall out of that. Then we get old school. That near fall was really good.
Yeah. Shawn timed it perfectly.
Yeah. Then we get old school, and Bret trips him off the top. So we get a top rope spot where they're caught in the corner, and then Bret is going for a super suplex off the top rope, and they kind of struggle at first, but they go over, man, and this is a big one.
Yeah, land. They find a way to make it work. The landing is a little heavy on Taker's back. He lands kind of weird, and it would screw up his back a little bit. He wouldn't go on to miss any time, but Taker doesn't come out of this unscathed either. There's not the most severe injury of the night, but something that happened there for sure.
Yeah. So right after that, Bret locks in the sharpshooter. He's got it locked in.
Yeah.
Man, this is awesome. They're talking like this is like WrestleMania. This is like when Austin was in the lock, but Undertaker breaks the damn hold.
Yeah, and shoots him out of the ring.
Yup. This is incredible.
Yeah. They put it over as the first time anybody has ever broken out of the sharpshooter, and I can't think of a time that I've seen anybody else do that before.
I don't know either.
Yeah, so
so he gets Bret back into the ring, sets up for the tombstone, but it gets reversed. Bret climbs over his back, and then he goes for a sharpshooter on the ring post. It's interesting, right?
Yeah, so this year, ever since the heel turn, he's really been working that figure 4 on the leg post, which wears the opponent's in the ring and he's on the outside. So this, he was actually going with Taker on the outside and himself inside the ropes, looking to put the sharpshooter on Taker over the ring post, and it comes off looking kind of awkward. But
I don't think he calculated for the turnbuckle and the ropes to be in the way.
Yeah.
It's like a video game could probably do that.
Exactly.
I think that'd be a move on like a 64 game, like one of those Sims, Akai Sims.
Yeah, but what ends up happening is important because it sets up HBK getting taken out. Is that
Taker shoots?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Taker shoots Bret off, and he flies right into Shawn.
Yeah. So Shawn takes the classic ref bump there, and so Bret Hart collects himself and finds himself a steel chair.
Yeah, this is it. Bret's getting dirtier and dirtier and dirtier.
Yeah.
This is his peak right here, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean this is up there. I mean, I think in a big time title match, you're not used to seeing Bret Hart stoop to these levels. He's been healed for a while, but to see him do this is definitely sinking a little bit or going a little bit further on that heel spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
But he takes the chair and just fucking clocks Taker with a
brutal
unprotected chair shot over the head.
Man. And finally, Shawn comes in. 1, 2, no. Man, Bret and Shawn argue about it.
Shawn picks when he goes to the corner, the chair is still lying in the corner. And he sees the chair.
Now he's finally questioning.
Yeah, and he's confronting Bret like, "Did you hit him with the chair?"
Yeah, he's in his face. He's like, "Did you?" And then Bret's like, "Fuck you," type deal.
Yeah,
and he spits a big loogie at Shawn.
Nobody could hawk a loogie like Bret Hart.
Oh man,
the excellence of execution.
And he said in his book or in an interview that they were trying to go for the chest, but he went right and hit him like right in the mouth or the face.
Whoops, aim was a little off. Sorry, guys.
Oops.
Sure, that was a total accident.
Yeah. So right after that, Shawn's pissed and he cracks back and nails Undertaker with the chair.
He's going for Bret, but Bret ducks it, and Taker takes his second shot to the dome.
He kind of saves himself on this. He lifts his shoulder up towards his ear, but I think the first one is still pounding in his head.
Oof, guaranteed.
So Bret covers and he tells Shawn, "Get the fuck over here." 1, 2, 3. Shawn can't disobey, otherwise he won't be able to wrestle in America.
His hands are tied.
1, 2, 3. We got a new champion.
Yep.
It's Bret Hart.
Just like that.
His 5th title reign.
record tying. Nobody had held the belt 5 times except for Hulk Hogan.
Brother.
Yep. And they don't mention Hogan by name, of course, due to obvious political reasons.
No,
but they do mention in the promos before that it is a record tying reign.
Yeah, Hogan was thinking like later on down the road, brother, I gotta come back. I gotta at least get 6, brother. I gotta at least get 7.
Yeah, one more than Bret, brother. That's all I want. That's all I want.
That's me. Know that I ruled in the air.
Yeah,
in that era. So we got a new champion, man. He's proud Canadian Bret Hart. He's celebrating with the Canadian flag, and all the fans are not too happy. I mean, some were surprised, but
they're already hungover.
Yeah,
like
they're dying out.
Yeah, they're ready to go. They're tired.
So they're throwing their stuff. Some fans are flicking off Shawn as he's walking away, frustrated. Bret doesn't look too pleased with the reaction. I mean, I don't think he always liked being heel.
I don't know. He's always said that he has. I think this moment for him was probably weird because of the Shawn heel turn, and he's not happy about that.
Yeah.
And just sort of for this being a historical title win for him, just like it's a little bit of an awkward moment. His music doesn't hit right away. Shawn storms off, so obviously he's not going to be handing him the belt. He gets the belt from the belt keeper.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, he's got his moment. They're throwing trash in the ring, as 90s wrestling fans were wont to do.
Yeah, this is definitely 1997.
Yeah.
Undertaker's chasing after Shawn, and he rolls his eyes, and then he goes through the little SummerSlam doorway.
Yeah.
And Bret kisses the title. He's got it back.
Yeah.
Think you ever fucked that thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry, he just kisses it a lot.
No, he takes the business too seriously. Yeah. This isn't like a page
thing.
Situation.
Okay.
I bet Shawn did.
I finally saw those. Sidebar. But yeah, I'm sure Shawn did. Well, I think he posed in Playgirl with it, right? Didn't he?
He did.
Did he? Okay.
He did, yeah.
Wow.
Like nothing.
Got his nads all over it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, sorry, jeez. I just figured all this out.
Yeah.
So that's it, man. SummerSlam 1997. We got 2 new champions. The IC champion and then the WWF World Champion.
Yeah, the Hart Foundation loses the IC title, but they gain the top prize.
Yep. It's the big dog bringing it home. It's Bret Hart. He's got the heavyweight title. Steve Austin's neck. What the hell's going to happen with that?
How long is he going to be out? Will he be back?
And then Bret, and then Shawn. We got him in peril. He's runaway bride from Undertaker, basically.
Yeah, he's got some beef with Taker now, and see how they're able to solidify this heel turn, or will they be able to?
Yeah, we'll see. We got 2 more Raws coming up, and then some Friday night main events.
Which I had zero recollection of until we talked about them earlier today.
And I don't know. I'm gonna have a hard time. I'm having a hard time right now finding them, but we'll see if we can get at least some good coverage on them. But we'll be back in about 2 weeks. And then we are going to have a special SummerSlam 1992 episode.
Yeah, take it back to a simpler time, 1992.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
In our timeline.
Yeah, and it just, the difference is night and day.
Yeah, so join us again. We're here, The Origin of Attitude, coming up next time.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of WretroMania. If you want to write into us, talk to us, you can at retromaniapodcast@gmail.com. That's retromania with a W, WRETRO, mania podcast @gmail.com. And if they want to catch up with you, Jimmy, where can they reach you?
Hit me on the Twitters. My handle is at Jimmy_Price. So yeah, any ideas, any thoughts, send me a tweet, DM me, whatever. We're all about feedback, ideas, stuff you want us to bring up on the show, any questions. If I fuck up, please let me know.
Yeah, if we fuck up, if we are doing anything wrong, if we're doing anything good, if you want to share your memories about this time right now, if you want to share other memories as well, you can write into us. Please, we want to hear your feedback. As well as upcoming episodes, we're going to have some bonus episodes. Jimmy and I are going to bring along some guests, and we're going to look back, romanticize, wrestle with their fandom.
Yeah, and we're going to get a chance to we're going to bounce around to different eras, because basically what we're going to do is we're going to bring a guest on and have them pick a match or two that really stuck out for them in either their years as a child being a fan, or like their early fandom. So we'll be bouncing around. We'll be looking at some different stuff, so it'll be cool. It's something I'm looking forward to.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to WretroMania. This is our special SummerSlam 1997 episode. I'm your host, Coby Nida, and hosting squad member, co-host. I'm here with Jimmy Price.
It's the new gimmick. We're the hosting squad. We're trying it out. Let us know, because we've already made about 2,000 t-shirts. So give us feedback.
Sorry,
Hashtag hosting squad.
Welcome to WretroMania. This is our special SummerSlam. Oh shit! Sorry.
Let me tell you something, brother. When you're hosting squad, you're hosting squad for life. All right. I think it's out of my system. I think I'm good.
Hey everybody, and welcome to WretroMania. I'm one part of your hosting squad. Shit, I thought I could get through it. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Okay.
Good stuff. Get into it.